And that's a wrap for the Real Housewives of Orange County season 17. Yeah, season 17. Woo! We made it through another season of the Real Housewives for Orange County. You know, I've told you the only reason why I started even watching the show is because you guys told me you wanted me to start doing recaps of Orange County. Last season, I was interested because it was supposed to be different. It was supposed to be new. We had a couple of new housewives. They ended up being losers. I'm sorry, Noella. I'm playing. I'm just going off the theme of what they were talking about in the season finale. I wouldn't say that Noella was the loser. Okay. But we watched it and recapped it last season. And then I wasn't sure coming into this new season, especially because we had new housewife. We had Taylor Armstrong, who was a hot mess. Look, I know some of you are fully entertained by drunk women on these shows, but when they're this drunk and they're embarrassing themselves, it's cringy. I get secondhand embarrassment. For me, it's not funny or entertaining. I can appreciate her saying, I have five friends that have $5 billion that are not pretentious. And this is, mind you, this is another time in the last year that we saw Taylor this drunk and saying things. Remember the paparazzi video? I'm not saying that there's an issue, but I just don't love when I start seeing a lot of the same thing. Anyways, so guys, if you're just joining us, this is our weekly recap of the Real Housewives of Orange County. As always, be sure to like the video. Be sure to vote in our live poll if you're watching on YouTube. Shout out to those of you that are watching on Facebook, TheKempire and Kempire Daily on Facebook. Shout out to those of you that are watching on Twitter. Shout out to those of you that are watching on Twitch as well. This is our final recap before the reunion. They dropped the reunion trailer as well. So before we get into any of that or any of what's been playing out in regards to the Real Housewives of Orange County news, we'll talk about that as well. We also are going to talk about this finale. Let's get those likes up because liking the video is an easy and free way of supporting the channel. Shout out to those of you that send in super chats, Venmos, Cash Apps, anything to support the channel any way that you can by buying stuff. We appreciate you guys. Let's get into a countdown so the notification squad is notified. And let's say hello to everyone in the live chat, including our channel members and, of course, our lovely moderators, aka our King's Guards. Let's get into a countdown and let's get into this recap.
Baby, baby, won't you listen to me? I got that flavor. I know you're dying to feed. I ain't no dancer, just got some hip in my feet. Now throw your hands up. Ooh, you bring the lighter. I got the fuse. You make a fire. I'll add the fuel. Follow my lead. Just watch the shoes. Gotta turn the heat up to get this cool.
Welcome back to the Kempire channel, your number one source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As always, be sure to like the video. Be sure to subscribe because it is a subscribers only live chat. And of course, be sure to turn on your notifications so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. So by now, I'm sure you've heard the news that the Real Housewives of Potomac trailer is out. I'm hoping. But I will be talking about that separately, so stay tuned for my thoughts and opinions on the Real Housewives of Potomac trailer. Real Housewives of Potomac will be coming to Bravo November 5th, along with Married to Medicine. So that will all be interesting. We will be in BravoCon when it premieres, so stay tuned for our recaps. More than likely will be, of course, on Mondays. All right, let's talk about some of the news about Orange County before we get into this recap, because I think it's worth talking about. There are a lot of articles. As you know, we covered the whole Shannon Bedore DUI and hit and run. She is in the middle of a legal situation. They're only misdemeanors. We already had Emily D. Baker break down what that could mean for her. More than likely, she will lose her license. But now people are trying to figure out what could be the problem. We had a few different people come out and talk and try to defend her and say, she's had a really rough year. Look, we love Shannon, but at the same time, I'm not going to make excuses for Shannon, especially because a lot of you that have been watching the show for years have said, you've seen this behavior, you're not surprised. But now they're trying to spin it and blame John Jansen, the man that we're not sure if they're dating. Because even by the end of this episode, they're like, Shannon's like, don't believe the rumors. And we've seen them together. And he was recently with her, comforting her, I guess. I don't know about this relationship because I honestly feel John Jansen makes Ryan look good, to be honest with you. And I'm not talking about what we've seen on the show. I'm talking about the rumors in comparison. Right? Because it seems like John Jansen doesn't even like Shannon. I do believe that Ryan loves Jen. Maybe. I don't know. We're watching an edited show based on what we see on the show. So now there's a rumor out there. People are blaming John Jansen for the reason why Shannon is drinking. I haven't watched the show chapter and verse, but what I've seen in the last 3 years of this show, I don't know. And what the ladies have said about Shannon and things that she's done while inebriated. And even if I didn't know about Shannon's behavior over the years with alcohol, I'm not going to sit here and blame an adult unless that adult was shoving liquor down your throat and then telling you to drive. I'm not going to blame that other adult. I'm going to blame the adult that did it. Period. And I really do hope that she gets the help that she needs. And I do believe, because they do talk about in this last episode, now she's in a house by herself. And we know John doesn't want to sleep there. And her kids have moved out. She is going through that process. I don't know what that is. I don't have children. I can only imagine what that is. I remember when my sister went off to college for the very first time. She was bawling. Everybody was bawling. I was like, what's going on? I was confused. But then I guess, leaving the nest, and now you spent your entire life raising these children, and now you're by yourself and you're with a man that isn't fully committed. So I can see where that might cause her to be a little depressed. I'm not saying that she is, but I can understand her being in her feelings about where she is in her life right now. Maybe. Moving on from that. So the people are blaming John Jansen for what's going on with Shannon. I know a lot of you have been waiting for Gina to weigh in. Did you guys know that Gina has a podcast? I was today years old when I found, shout out to our friends over at Bravo Snarkside, because they're the ones who I saw the clip. I was like, Shannon has a podcast. Apparently she does. It's called like Orange Country or something like that. So anyway, in the podcast, she takes the high road. She doesn't dwell in, yes, Shannon has said all these things about me. She's leaned in, especially this season. She even talked about how my kids were going to be picked up by CPS. I'm not going to kick her while she's down. But I can't not say that this is not karma. Well, I mean, it might be hard to hear, and some people wouldn't say it, but Shannon, over the last couple of seasons that I've watched, has really consistently brought up how much she helped Gina when she had her own DUI. And sort of like held that over her head. So everyone's speaking out in regards to this. But let's get into this episode. And if you're just joining us, guys, this is our Real Housewives of Orange County recap. If you haven't already, be sure to like the video. It's an easy and free way of supporting the channel. Don't forget to also subscribe to the Kempire Radio YouTube channel. That's where you'll see a visual version of our podcast. And be sure to check out the latest episode of our podcast, which was recorded live with a live studio audience. And you get your own version. You get your own version because there's some things that I've added to that version of the podcast. And I know it's been a couple of weeks. I will be doing a new episode. Look, I've been busy. Things happening. Just saying. I'm sure you've been busy as well. But I've been posting a lot of videos, and we are still celebrating over 304,000 subscribers. 304,000 subscribers. So if you're a new subscriber, welcome. Welcome. We appreciate you being here. All right. So let's get into this episode. I did not realize that this episode was going to be another Heather Dubrow bashing. And I said this the last 3 weeks. I hate the fact that we have to consistently defend Heather. And it's not that Heather is not worthy of being defended. I just don't feel like she needs to be defended, but I feel it's also baseless claims against Heather. And again, it's an edited show. We don't know what they're saying behind the scenes. We don't know if Heather is this big puppeteer. What we do know, based on what we're seeing and what I've seen out off screen at BravoCon, Tamra is a pot stirrer. And she was pot stirring the entire BravoCon. The amount of things I heard that Tamra was involved in, allegedly, I'll say. I wouldn't be surprised she'll be doing the same thing at BravoCon this year. So she's a pot stirrer. She's desperate. Do we really believe her CBD company is a multi-million-dollar? But here's the thing. And I know people are like, well, she has multi-million dollars. Why does she want to be so badly on the show? Because she is a narcissist. A lot of people say the same thing to Heather. Like, why are you even doing the show? Lady, you have all the money in the world at this point. People like fame. People like to help promote their other things. So Shannon and Emily go to a chiropractor. I thought this scene was actually kind of funny. Shannon really hurt herself when she was in Mexico, and the chiropractor is breaking her. Like, just the way it was edited, it was kind of comedic. And to have Shannon and Emily being the scene, because they're both very funny naturally, was really, really cool to see. So Emily says that, I don't know, there was something about the first 20 minutes of this episode. I had Emily, we had Gina, we had so many people defending Tamra. Like, well, Tamra, she might say stuff, but she's going to apologize. And Tamra is, she's not a liar. She might be a pot stirrer, but she's not a liar. Tamra Judge is a liar. Look, she's a liar. Based off what we've seen, she's a liar. And she's not any of your friends. Any of your friends. We also have this separate scene with Heather and Dr. Dubrow. Here's the thing. I just realized that Terry's office is still in the OC. So everyone woosah, she's not going to Beverly Hills. She will be back. Heather Dubrow will be back because she has to stay in the OC because he has a practice in there in the city. So they have to come back. And at the end of this episode, they say that now they have to find their new dream home in Orange County. Okay, I love to see it. So we can all take a sigh of relief. Heather will be back, but I still stand by what I said last week. The problem with this cast and why everyone's attacking Heather, because they are jealous. And I hate saying that, but they're so obviously jealous of Heather and her lifestyle. I think it's time that they find some people that, for lack of a better word, on the same level of money and lifestyle as Heather. Okay? And I'm not saying that these ladies can't be on the show because they're not. No, we need to find a little bit more of a balance because what we're finding with a lot of them, they're acting very jealous. Even Jen, this episode, I was like, what is Jen doing? Jen, Tamra is not your friend. But I can also see why Jen doesn't feel like she can connect with Heather. But by the end of the episode, you can see that a friendship could be forged between the two of them. Anyways, I'm backtracking. Let me backtrack a little bit. So Dr. Dubrow still hasn't, that's what I got from their conversation, but he's concerned about his wife and what's going on with the group. Gina says that Tamra doesn't lie in her confessional. Gina then also sends a text message to Heather and, saying, I'd like to have a conversation. All right. Tamra. So Tamra's scene, because like I told you, what is Tamra's storyline? Of course, it's a finale, so they're going to try and bring it all together. But this entire season, we haven't paid any attention to her storyline. But she's focused, her journey this season was about how Cut Fitness went out of business. But, she grew up with her father owning a business. She wanted to have her own business. She didn't go to college, blah, 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 blah. So she's going to be on the cover of this magazine to celebrate herself and da-da-da-da. Okay. Do you guys believe that I was even interested in that scene? I wasn't. But I said this at the top of the season. She should be proud that she, as any entrepreneur, you will start something. Sometimes it will last and it'll continue for years and years and years. But a lot of times entrepreneurs have built multiple businesses. A lot of them have failed and maybe one was truly successful. According to her, the CBD business is very successful. Okay. And now she's looking to expand and do other things. And this is where she decides to take a jab at her husband and said, maybe I'll get into the toy business because her sex life with Eddie is dry. Okay. I don't understand why someone would think that you mentioning this on a national platform is going to help your relationship, both emotionally or physically. That's not, especially for a man's ego, and you're putting this on national television. Ladies, heterosexual women that have husbands, how do you feel about how she's talking about her husband on the show? Do you agree with me? Maybe I'm wrong because I'm not married to a man, a heterosexual man. Look, I don't know how that would work, but you know what I mean? Like, I want to understand the dynamic, especially for those of you that have been in long-term marriages. And I'm sure you will agree that there are times where there are dry spells. Damn. Look. Are there really dry spells? And what is a dry spell? 1 week? Look, 2 weeks? A month? I can't imagine being with someone, like being married to someone, and a month goes by and we have not been. And when I say intimate, because intimacy is not just the in and the out. It's not just that. And it's not just other. Intimacy is different. Intimacy can be a lot of things. But the in and the out part, a month? Like, I know some of you have said that it's been months. I can't imagine. I'm not going to tell you what I just thought. Okay, I'm going to tell you. I'd leave you. Look, wait, on Roni, her husband, Abe, Erin's husband says, what would you do if I didn't have sex with you for, I forgot how long she said. And he says, I would be effing other women. Well, I don't know about that part, but I'm just like, not after a month though. Come on, calm down, everybody in the live chat. Calm down. I wouldn't leave you after a month, but when should you leave someone if you're not kidding? Anyways, let's move on. Sex is an important part of a relationship. I say all that to say, all right? So Tamra gets emotional talking about cut fitness. Okay, they're rounding out her story, all right? But anyway, she's ready to explore other business ventures. So Jen has a conversation with Ryan because she's concerned. This is where Jen gets vulnerable and she talks about her money issues. As you know, she wants to retain an attorney so she can finally get divorced. But she's like, I don't have $5,000 to give this attorney a retainer. And, she has her yoga business, but she's like, yeah, we don't get a salary from the yoga business yet. So she doesn't have the money. It seemed as if Ryan said, I would give it to you, but I didn't see why didn't he? Does he not want to give it to her because she's not going to take it? I mean, look, this is an edited show. There might be more context. I don't want to jump to the conclusion and think, why don't you give it to her? If it was my boo and you didn't have the money and you wanted to get divorced and I have the money, take this money, girl, because I want to marry you. You know what I mean? Just saying. Just a thought. All right. Moving on. All right. So they have this conversation and she says she wants to be clear because, Tamra made it seem like there was more information that she had and she was just waiting to drop it. So she says to Ryan, if there's anything, I need you to tell me. I need you to tell me. And he says, I slept with that woman only once, and it was when we were on a break. I just noticed his voice is a little interesting. Anyone else? I don't know if I just didn't pay attention before, but I really noticed it this episode. I was like, that voice. Anyways. It's not my future husband. Just saying. I'm very sensitive to voices. No. All right. So he said he was only with her one time. And this is when she opens up about her money struggles and things like that. But based off how the episode ended, it seemed as if she was able to get the money at some point. And I don't know if she's finalized her divorce or she's on her way to finalizing her divorce. All right. So we get this scene with Shannon and John. And of course, Shannon decides that this is an opportunity for her to talk about what the ladies have been talking about in regards to their relationship. She's trying to sugarcoat what has been said. I believe Shannon has opened up to these ladies and told the truth of the relationship, and she's mad that they brought it on the show. Okay? But I was paying more attention to her body language with John. John, I could tell, was trying to act for the camera, very smiley and saying the things that you're supposed to say. But I could tell from Shannon's response that this is not true. This is not genuine. I don't know why she decides to stay with this man, but I could tell. I forgot what he said. He said something. Was it I love you? I can't remember what he said. And she looked down. Look at us, body language experts. She would not make eye contact with him. And I'm thinking to myself, this is not and again, it's an edited show. Sometimes the way that they have the audio and what they're showing you is not lining up. I'm going to keep that in mind. But based off what everyone has said about this relationship, I believe that this is not a love relationship. And I do believe that he does love the camera. And he's playing it up for the camera. So she brings up what Heather said about not being all in. Heather is like, I haven't really even said anything that I've said to you, because they had like lunch or a meal the day before, Shannon and Heather. She says, I haven't said anything that everyone doesn't already know in this group. I believe Heather, to be honest with you. I believe Shannon has divulged a lot, maybe while she was drinking, to the rest of the group, because they've all said it. All right. But she also opens up about being sad about being alone with her kids, but then she makes it seem like, well, then that means, John and I are going to have more time together. We shall see. I mean, they've been hanging out since the breakup, so we shall see. Like, I'm sad for Shannon, but at the same time, like, Shannon, this is your life. You are your life manager. This is your time. Now that your kids are grown and moving on with their lives, you can't live your life through your children. They've moved on. It's time for you to make the decisions that you are living your best life. And I get it. She also still has to pay for their college. So it's not like she can quit her job and go do whatever she wants. But you can still do whatever you want because now you don't have kids in the house. Make fun of it. I know at first it's like, what do? I spent my entire life catering to the needs of my children and somehow got lost in all of that. And now what is it? Oh, John Jansen, who doesn't really love me the way that I want someone to love me. Well, Shannon, did you ever think by keeping John Jansen in your life, you're blocking from the guy that could really love you and support you from coming into your life? But first, you got to love and support yourself before that person. Or maybe because you don't love and support yourself, you are attracting people that aren't going to love and support you, that you're going to attract people that treat you the same way that you treat yourself. Damn, that was a mouthful. That was a mouthful. But it's true. It was just coming through, so I had to let it flow. And while I let it flow, let me turn on the banners and things like that. Guys, don't forget to like the video if you haven't already. This is our recap of the Real Housewives of Orange County. Just when I start and I come here and I'm like, what am I going to say? What did I just watch? What do I want to say? I don't really have anything to say. I'm a little tired. And then I get in and I'm like, this is with no coffee or anything. But my water in my coldest water is a proud sponsor of the channel. With the discount code Kempire10, you can get 10% off of your order. And they don't just have water bottles. They have things for your pets. They have pillows. They have sheets. They have all kinds of really cool things. Head on over to coldest.com. But again, don't forget to use the discount code Kempire10 for 10% off of your order. And for everything Kempire, including our social media, our merch, our podcasts, everything's available at TheKempire.com. All right. Moving on. So they have that dinner with Shannon and John. Who cares? Sorry. This scene, though, is classic Housewives, and this is why I enjoyed the episode. Shannon, Tamra, and Jen hang out. Jen. I still love Jen. Don't get me wrong. I didn't love Jen's outfit at the reunion, but I still love Jen. And I love the fact that she was all in. This take-home colonic situation that Shannon's doing because she's like, I got to get other products. I got to make money. I got to pay for these kids' college. I don't know if I want to do it at home, but I definitely want to do it because I remember I used to have friends, old co-workers, that used to do it on a regular basis. Is that still a thing? Do people still do that? Like, I want to try it. Should I take the cameras with me, try it, and post it? Well, not all of it. Come on now. Ew. So she's doing a take-home one. I don't know about that. I don't know if I want to do it at home. I want to do it in a professional office where they're taking care of all the ish. Like, what do you do with that, Shannon? If you're doing it at home, you just throw it in the garbage. But I love this scene with all of them because they're all acting silly. They're having a good time. They're catching up. They also talk about Heather. Jen talks about Heather and Heather's weird behavior in Mexico and how Heather's like, she's obsessed with her feet. And Heather in her own confession was like, she has the cutest little feet. But she's like, it's not a fetish. I'm like, can y'all show us her feet? Because, and I'm really into feet. No judgments. I'm not judging people's fetishes. However, I'm just not into people's feet like that. When y'all post pictures of your feet on social media, I'm just like, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? Ew. Look, ew. But that's me. I understand some people are really turned on by this stuff. It's not me. Not me. But Heather says not me either, but she has cute little feet. Well, I can appreciate someone that has nice feet because there's so many people walking around with some terrible feet. Just saying. All right? Take care of your feet. And not just the way that it looks. Take care of your feet because as you get older, just saying. Look. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. All right. So Jen apparently has some issues with Heather that we didn't realize that she had because when they were in Mexico, her and Taylor were hanging out with Heather. Heather came to the room and then Heather was like, oh, I'll be right back, and never came back. So apparently Taylor and Jen felt a way about it. Later on, they bring this up while Taylor is drunkity drunk at this party. And basically Heather says, I went back to the room, I laid my head down and I fell asleep. Do you believe that story? Or do you believe that Heather doesn't look at Taylor and Jen to be on her level? I feel like that's the narrative they want us to believe about Heather. I believe Heather did go lay her head down. Because these housewives, anytime they come together, you're filming a show, let it be BravoCon, they are drinking, they are partying, it's a lot. So I can see Heather going back to the room and just like, I just need to lay down. I just need to lay down. They literally have video footage of her laying down. So, yeah, moving on. Gina and Heather have a lunch and Gina, oh my gosh, Gina. Like I want to really like Gina because I do like Gina and Emily's relationship. I don't really love Gina on her own, to be honest with you. But congrats on your real estate license. Here's the thing though, Gina. She says her voice sometimes is annoying. Hi. How are you? You look cute. I'm like, girl, you're from New York. Why are you talking like that? She's been in California too long. Shout out to Californians, but I'm just saying. You look cute. She's like, you do too. So Heather plays the podcast where Tamra calls them losers. And she's like, I didn't call you guys losers. I called Noella. Damn, Noella. Getting catching strays. Poor Noella catching strays. But I can understand why Heather is calling Noella a loser. They just did not have that friendship, even though Heather tried to have a friendship with Noella. So I can see why she's calling her loser. I'm not going to say that Noella is a loser, but the ghost of Noella has haunted us the last couple of episodes. What do you think if Noella was a part of this cast this season? What that would have looked like? I don't know. Would you want Noella back? What do you think Noella would she fit into this flow of a cast? A lot of people said the cast this year was really good. I don't know. I wonder if Noella would have been friends with Tamra or if she would have been friends with Heather. I don't know. I know some of you are probably saying, well, I'm glad that Tamra didn't come back. I feel like the cast is pretty good. I told you last week, Tamra did too much this season for me. It was too over the top. It was too like, I need to keep my rotten orange. That it just didn't feel natural. I liked seeing her in that scene with Jen and Shannon. That felt a little bit more natural. She wasn't stirring the pot, even though she was stirring the pot. She was still stirring the pot when it comes to Heather because she's trying to turn this group against Heather. And apparently it was working. It was working until Gina's party. All right. So Gina's Halloween party. This was not Gina's party. Gina did not throw this party. Gina, y'all really believe Gina threw this party? Who believes that Gina threw this party? Replay crew. As always, be sure to let us know where you're watching from, how you would rate this episode of The Real Housewives of Orange County, and your thoughts. Do you believe that Gina threw this party or production threw this party because they needed a finale? Production threw this party. Gina could not throw this party. It was a nice party, though. I thought it was a cute party. So Gina gets dressed up in costume. It's a costume party. Who had the best costume? Who had the best costume? I don't know who had the best costume. I don't know who I thought had the best costume. Why were they so oppressed by Ryan not wearing a shirt? I feel like that is so common, especially in the gay community. The gay boys on Halloween, any way that they can show skin, and the girls too, any way that they can show skin, dress up, be a slutty, whatever. So it didn't bother me that Ryan was not wearing a shirt. He's got a body. He wants to show it off. Go ahead. We'll watch. Look, I didn't get why they were all commenting, oh my God, he's not wearing a shirt. All right. I also didn't think Heather's costume was as bad as they were trying to make it out to be. You could just say that you don't like Heather. Just say that you're just jealous of Heather. Her costume was not bad at all. If anything, her costume was probably one of the better ones, to be honest with you. Who else? I didn't really love Emily's popcorn costume. It was cute when you looked up close, how the popcorn bra, that was cute. And her husband being the extra butter. I did like Jen's lion. She looked cute as a lion. She definitely looked cute as a lion. Tamra was a perfect costume. It was a little scary, but maybe that was the point. But very fitting of Tamra, as you guys like to call her. Okay. So, of course, a lot of things go down at this party. Of course, Heather arrives later than everyone else because everyone's already talking about Heather and her stirring the pot and calling them losers. And Emily is a little taken aback at Gina trying to change her opinion. Because Gina even says to Emily, I feel like you're being a little bit more aggressive than usual when it comes to Heather. And Emily was like, you can have your relationship with Heather. I don't have to see what you're seeing. Okay. And of course, Tamra's there stirring the pot everywhere else. And she believes that Gina has been Heather-merized. I can't believe I remember some of this stuff. I don't even think that was what happened. I think, first of all, I really don't believe that Gina had a real issue with Heather. I think she was trying to have a moment. And I think Heather talked logic to her and was just like, you know what you're dealing with. And you guys saying that Tamra doesn't lie. I'm like, really? Are we not watching the same show? Y'all better play. I love during the episode, though, that the editors are showing all the lies being proven. All right. I hope they call her out during the reunion. Okay. We'll talk about the reunion in a second. So Heather does arrive and she has a separate conversation with a couple of different people. She has a conversation with Emily, which I thought was actually a sweet conversation because Emily became very vulnerable. Why didn't we get like follow up with Emily and her family? Because we started off the season with a lot of Emily and her personal story. And then we rounded out the end of the season and it was just like, just nothing. Like I thought we might see her mom come visit. Did I miss that? Did I? Or was that just edited out? Very possible. So her and Heather have a conversation and Emily breaks down and says, you know, it really hurt my feelings that you may have called me a loser because I've worked hard to get where I am. And we know Emily's story, you know, so for me, that was sort of like, oh, when you think about her story, you're like, I can see. And did Tamra say that? Well, they showed it. She did say it, that she doesn't believe that Emily is a practicing attorney. Well, is Emily a practicing attorney? I don't know. I don't know if she would consider herself a practicing attorney, but she is an attorney. She did go to law school. She is a licensed attorney. The same way you guys try to drag Ebony K. Williams about her license being suspended in North Carolina. I was like, you know how many people, because remember, I come from that world of lawyers and things like that and licenses. I'm a little bit more familiar, so I can understand how people run with narratives of like, oh my gosh, she's not a real attorney. There's plenty of attorneys that aren't practicing attorneys, but their license are active. There are some that their license are suspended. But if they're not lawyering, they don't need to pay You have to pay dues to keep your license, okay? You got to take classes and stuff to keep your... No, I understand why they wouldn't want to do it, especially if you're not passionate. I have to say, there are a lot of attorneys I've seen and spoken to and worked with thousands of attorneys. You would not believe that there's that many attorneys in New York, but apparently there are. Apparently there are thousands of attorneys, and the majority of them are not passionate about law. The majority. So shout out to the ones that are passionate. Just saying. Anyways. So Heather and Emily had that conversation, and they seemed to get to a better place until the reunion, apparently. I was like, oh, well, at least they came to a better place. But maybe they do get to a better place by the end of the reunion. So Heather then has a conversation with Taylor, who is drunk. She's just talking about everything and everyone. And she's talking about all her fancy friends in Beverly Hills. And we know, because we know Taylor from Beverly Hills. She obviously does have those friends that have a lot of money. And she just is like, well, if she doesn't want to hang with me, I can hang with my really fancy billionaire friends in Beverly Hills. Sidebar, we need to give a round of applause to Heather Dubrow for that interpretation. Well, no, that imitation of the drunken Taylor. I was like, okay, actor coming out. It was spot on, Heather. It was spot on. I was like, I had to look up from my laptop. I was like, go ahead, Heather. All righty then. She was drunk, Taylor. But Taylor decides to pull it together so she can have a conversation with Jen and Heather. And Heather's just like, I can't talk to her right now. Because she's like, I was supposed to meet my daughter's friend or his niece or something. I can't remember what it was. And Heather's like, what am I doing here? But then she ends up having an actual conversation with Jen. And they decide, let's have our own friendship and not be influenced by Tamra. All right. Did Heather and Shannon have a conversation? Shannon still has her issues with Heather too. She doesn't feel like Heather is being genuine. She doesn't think that she can have a real friendship with Heather. I don't think so either. And it's not because I think there will always be something. They're like frenemies. I don't think they will ever see eye to eye. Is what it is. Then Tamra and Heather have their own little confrontation. But Heather's like, I'm not doing this with you. You know what you're doing. You're trying to stir the pot. You're trying to do all of this stuff. You're trying to turn all of this on me. But you are the one that are saying these things about the group. This will be an interesting reunion. Let's talk about the reunion trailer. But before we get into the reunion trailer, guys, if you haven't already, be sure to like the video. Be sure to subscribe. And, of course, be sure to subscribe to the Kempire Shorts YouTube channel and the Kempire Radio YouTube channel. And if you haven't subscribed to the Kempire Radio podcast, what are you doing? Don't forget to rate and review the podcast because rating and reviewing matters. So be sure to rate us on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Even if you don't listen to Spotify, but you have a Spotify account, go give us a 5-star rating there. Just saying, come on, ratings matter, okay? And sharing is caring. Tell a friend to tell a friend about what you're watching. Me. All right. Let's talk about this reunion trailer. Our friends over at OMFG Reality TV tweeted before the reunion trailer dropped that they were like, are we getting a 50-second reunion trailer? And then fast forward, we ended up getting a 50-second reunion trailer. And to be honest with you, based off the reunion trailer, it didn't make me want to watch the reunion like that. I'm going to watch, but it wasn't like... The most impressive thing for me was the reunion set. When they went... Because I really thought they were outside. I was like, are they outside? But then the lights are out, and then the lights come on. And whoever did that set, production... You did a great job. The last set that I really, really loved was the Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion set from last season, where they were sort of in the middle, like they were floating on a thing. I was like, that is beautiful. Like they've had something. You know who's had some really good reunion sets? Married to Medicine. Married to Medicine's reunion sets have been really, really nice. But this, I would love to see them do this again somewhere else. I would love to see them do this again somewhere else. So the reunion trailer for me, of course, is just rehashing of all of the drama throughout the season. We've already talked about the reunion fashions. If you missed it, be sure to check out the Tuesday Takeover. Our timestamps are now available. That's where I talk about some of your favorite shows like 90 Day Fiance, all the iterations, Below Deck. I know I missed Below Deck Med. I need to get into that this season. There's a lot of drama going on over there off camera. And we also talked about Big Brother. I'm in the middle of Big Brother 24 right now. And I'm so glad some of you that are on Twitter are updating me with context, because what you see on the show versus what was on the live feeds is a big difference. So, and I kind of remember what was going on last season in regards to that. Anyways, so the reunion trailer was a little lackluster for me. And them trying to insinuate that Gina might not want to come back. Everyone's like, yes, please don't. Please don't. Sorry, Gina. I thought they were talking about Heather. No, they were talking about Gina. I do think they need to do something with not completely the cast, but I know they're going to bring Tamra back. But Tamra, I need you to just focus on your personal story. I need you not to be such a pot stirrer next season. I mean, defend yourself, do what you need to do. But at the same time, I don't need you being a producer. You produced too much this season. You threw your friend under the bus too much this season. In this trailer, accusing her of being a cheater. And her saying, you are a cheater. When? You could, guys, give me the context. Did she cheat on her other husband? Let me know. I didn't know that. I'm going to watch. I'm going to recap it. I'm going to talk about it here with you, as always. But the reunion trailer being less than a minute, and it's more than one part. I'm hoping it's only 2 parts. It better not be more than 2. They already said part 1. But the reunion set looked beautiful. That was my focus. I was like, the reunion set looks gorgeous. Anyways. Guys, as always, be sure to like the video if you haven't already. This is our weekly recap of the Real Housewives of Orange County. If I had to rate this episode, this finale, it didn't really feel necessarily like a finale, but it was a good season overall. I thought it was a good season overall. It was better than last season, but some of you might say, in comparison to the older seasons, this was an season. Maybe. How would you rate it from 1 to 10? I would rate the season finale, I would probably give this a 7. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't great either. If I had to rate the entire season, I probably would also rate the entire season a 7. Yeah, because I can't say that I look back on the season and I was like, oh my God, this was an iconic season. It really wasn't. It wasn't an iconic season. But I do like Jen, the addition of Jen. I still enjoy Heather. I still enjoy Shannon. Gina didn't annoy me as much this season. Tamra was probably like my only person on this cast that made me really just like, I don't want to watch this. And now we have to watch her on The Traitors. Anyways, guys, be sure to like the video. Let's get out of here with some music. Thank you for anyone that sent in a super chat. Those of you that send in thank you super chats afterwards, Venmos, Cash Apps, any way that you can support the channel will be available in the description, including our cameos, including all the things, merch, things, all that. All right. So thank you to all of you. Thank you to our channel members. To become a member of the channel, head on over to TheKempire.com/join. For everything Kempire, head on over to TheKempire.com. And of course, thank you to our King's Guards. We could not do this without them. Have a great rest of your Thursday. I will see you all in the next video. And if I don't, I'll see you during the weekend, or I'll see you on IG Live or TikTok Live. Be sure to follow me on those platforms. I might go on IG Live later. All right, let's get out of here, y'all. Let's get out of here with some music.
You remind me of Friday fever when the sun went down. I could try to describe this feeling, but just come around.